Good evening, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny. It is here in West Michigan. We live by Lake Michigan. It is 4:48 in the afternoon on February the 16th. It is a Thursday. I just was outside feeding our birds. Earlier I was looking through the kitchen window, and our kitchen window looks out at the bird feeder, and I noticed the birds were all in the bush, and I could see they were looking at the kitchen window, and they were telling me to come out and throw some cracked corn to them. So I went out there and threw some cracked corn out, some sunflower seeds for the squirrels, and so now I thought I would make a video. It's been 3 or 4 days since I made a video. I was going to do a video showing the thrift store books and the Book Nook. The Book Nook is our local library's used bookstore. The Book Nook, where I volunteer on Mondays from 10 to 1 and on Fridays from 10 to 1, which means tomorrow I volunteer at the Book Nook from 10 to 1. But today, well, this morning, my wife and I, we went to a used book sale at a library in Hudsonville. Hudsonville is like east of us. It's about a 20-minute drive. And they have a library there, small little town library. And they usually have book sales in their basement. And we go there once in a while. A friend of my wife's lives right in Hudsonville and told her about the used book sale, and so we went. I wasn't sure if I would go because it was supposed to rain and snow, and I don't like driving in bad weather. I get super anxious, but it was clear this morning. We left around 9:30. The book sale started around 10 o'clock. And so we got some books. My wife always gets more books than me because she buys books for her friends or the library used the church library or something. And she buys books for friends. And but I thought I would show you what I got this morning at this library used book sale in Hudsonville, Michigan. First of all, I'll show you, I picked up a novel by Penelope Lively. I have shown you, I have, I don't know how many novels by her. She's one of my favorite writers. And I didn't have this one, and I was really surprised. That is called Making It Up, Penelope Lively, and I didn't have this one in my Penelope collection, so I was kind of pleased. This one came out in 2005. So, and then I picked up a biography. As I mentioned, I have certain collections, and when I dehauled a couple years ago, I got rid of some of my collections, but I kept my Lincoln collection, and I found this one, Stanton, Lincoln's War Secretary by Walter Stahr. So, and so I got this from my Lincoln collection. As you all know, I've said many times I'm a student of American history, and I found this book. It's in the Penguin History United States, and this one's titled A Nation Without Borders, the United States and Its World in the Age of Civil Wars, 1830 to 1910 by Stephen Hahn. So I got this for my American history. Yeah, I really love American history, and so I got this. I collect biographies on poets and painters and journalists and presidents and politicians and writers. But I found this one at the library used book sale. This is W.C. Wyeth, a biography by David Michaelis. So you can see the library where we went is on the sticker there. Yeah, I don't think I don't have any biographies by him. But I didn't have a biography. He did illustrations for Treasure Island. I think he was a painter. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe he was an illustrator. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. He was hailed as the greatest American illustrator of his day. I was thinking of somebody else. For 43 years, starting in 1902, he painted landscapes, still lifes, portraits, and murals, as well as illustrations for a long shelf of literature. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But maybe I'm not. I'm not too sure now. If I have the right painter. Or was he this? Maybe it was a family. Anyway, an American painting dynasty is portrayed in this huge, riveting biography of N.C. Wyeth. His name summons up earliest images of the beloved books he read as children. He was hailed as the greatest American illustrator of his day for 43 years. We read that despite the darkness of his temperament, he was a towering figure of physical passions were rooted in the 19th century. Well, anyway, look forward to reading it. There's a picture of him in the back. Maybe he was an illustrator, not a painter. Anyway, I stand to be corrected. And then I picked this book up, The Inkblots, Hermann Rorschach and His Ionic Test and the Power of Seeing by Daniel Searls. This book I bought. I collect books on British history, ruling Britannia, A Political History of Britain, 1688 to 1988, by Guile Williams and John Ramsden. When I looked at it, the first pages were underlined, but the rest of it isn't, and it's okay. Then I found a novel by Anais, The Seduction of the Minotaur. I collect her writings. Even she was known for her diaries, and she was known for her association with Henry Miller. But I collect her writings, and I found this one at the used book library used book sale. Then I found this book on politics, Playing with Fire, the 1968 Election and the Transformation of American Politics by Lawrence O'Donnell. I collect books on 1968, and I like politics, studying politics. And so here's a picture. In that year, 1968, Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. Bobby Kennedy, there's a photo. Yeah, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in 1968. Anyway, I got this. New and Collected Stories by Alan Stanton. He's a British writer. I have a couple of his novels. He wrote Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner, Saturday Night and Sunday Morning. These are his new and collected stories. Yeah, I have 3 novels by him. Now I have his short stories. I found a novel by Russell Banks I did not have in my Russell Banks collection, Lost Memory of Skin. Russell Banks is one of my favorite American writers. I've read a lot of his novels over the years, and I think I've shown you he wrote like Cloud Splitter, The Sweet Hereafter, The Continental Drift, Trailer Park, Family Life. That's spam. Then I found The Story of the Jews, Volume 2, belonging 1492 to 1900, by Simon Schama. I don't have Volume 1, but I thought I'd buy Volume 2. These books are only like $1 for hardbacks, and I collect his writings, and it still looked really interesting, covering the story of the Jews from 1492 to 1900. I don't know if he did a 3rd volume. It says here, the story of the Jews finding the words 1000 BCE to 1492. So I don't know if there's a 3rd volume. I haven't looked on Amazon yet. This is a novel called The Harvester by Stratton-Porter. I've never heard of this, but in the back it says the harvester Jean Stanton-Porter returns to her beloved Midwestern woodlands. Her hero, David Langston, is modeled after Henry David Thoreau. He lives a contented life in the Medicine Woods with his dog Beelzar, his dog Betsy, and the birds and animals of the wild as his companions. And it just goes on. It just looked kind of interesting. So I grabbed it. And this is P.G. Wodehouse, a little literary celebrated creator of Jeeves and Bernie Wooster. P.G. Wodehouse. It's just a little thing about him. So I just grabbed that. We all know who he is. This is Literary Lives by Joseph Connolly. And then I found Confessions of the Flesh, The History of Sexuality, Volume 4 by Michael Foungat. I can't pronounce the name. I collect his writings. I have a couple of these, and this is also underlined, but there's only 50 cents, and it's only underlined in the first part. So I grabbed it. There's a piece of paper in here. What's the paper? Oh, Barnes & Noble. This thing cost the person $30. I got it for 50 cents. This I got from my Ayn Rand collection, Goddess of the Market, Ayn Rand and the American Right by Jennifer Burns. I've been interested in Ayn Rand since I was in high school, and I've not read her, but I collect books by her and books about her. And I just found this one at this library used book sale, and I just grabbed it for my Ayn Rand collection. Someday I'll read her. I want to read like her famous novel. Oh, I can't remember now what that famous novel is. But this is like The Fountainhead. And she wrote Atlas Shrugged. Those are the ones I want to read someday. So I keep collecting books on Ayn Rand. And then I collect books on this Southern writer, Ellen Gilchrist. 3 novellas I cannot get close enough. And then I bought this historical fiction by a Japanese writer. I can't pronounce his name. Can't pronounce it, but Teiko, a novel. Izu Irishikawa, I can't pronounce it, but I like big chunkers of novels, and it just looked interesting, so I grabbed it for I have different an epic novel of war and glory and feudal Japan. I don't know, just look. Maybe someday I can get into it and I'll read it. And it's not a library withdrawal. It looks like somebody donated it. So I grabbed it. So yeah, that's what I got at this library used book sale. Like my wife, she bought all kinds of books. Didn't really find anything that really blew me away, just thing I add to my collections. Nothing unusual. I have a wide curiosity. Oh, I didn't show you this book. Anatomy of a Miracle novel by Jonathan Miles. I bought this because it was recommended by Richard Rusko, who I respect, and Barry Hanna, who I collect, and the Washington Independent Review of Books, David Eggers, and it looks like a Southern Gothic. So I grabbed this. I like reading short stories. Excuse me. So I got this. Like I said, I collect books in 1968. Anais Nin collection. Books on Great Britain. The Inkblots. I don't know. I saw this when it came out, and it looked interesting. And it has come into the Book Nook. This came out in 2017. I like books on psychology, things like that. So this guy was an illustrator. I got me corrected here. I didn't know that. I thought he was the painter. I was thinking of somebody different. But it looks interesting. I'll learn something I didn't know. I was probably thinking of somebody else with the same, maybe it's from the same family, but painters and illustrators. And of course, American history, A Nation Without Borders. He also wrote A Nation Under Our Feet, winner of the Pulitzer Prize. And my Abraham Lincoln collection, Stanton, Lincoln's War Secretary, by Walter Sartre. He also wrote a book on Seward, Lincoln's Indispensable Man. And then a novel by Penelope Lively, Making It Up. So that's what I got. I have tons of books from the Book Nook and thrift stores I haven't shown. I'll show those in a future video. I just want to show you what I got at this library used book sale this morning. And yeah, hope you're all had a good week. Tomorrow's a Friday. I'll get around to making another video. I gotten books in the mail yesterday. Some used books and new books. I'll show those too. There's always books. Thank the Lord for books. So I hope you're all doing well. Do pray that like you're just doing okay. Have a good reading weekend. And I'll sign off. And until next time, nothing really going on here. I'm doing okay. I'm kind of sad about the massacre in Lansing, East Lansing, where those kids were killed by that madman, and 5 are in the hospital fighting for their lives, and that's been depressing. And the war in Ukraine, and it just goes on and on. The earthquake, devastation in Turkey and Syria, tension of war between China and the United States, global warming, the destruction of the Amazon forest, rising of the oceans, killing of whales. It just goes on and on. So I just have to pray every day, Lord, help me to keep my eyes on you. I look at this world and it just is so sad. So I'll sign off, but I'm rambling. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. And until next time, bye.